Shoplifting has just absolutely exploded in New York City and continues to rise despite what officials tell you. Let's check out this video.
Well, we've been showing you how retail theft is on the rise across America, and now nearly all grocers in New York City say they have been victims of shoplifting this year alone.
And 60% of those stores say they've been burglarized every single day of the week this year. This combined with a sharp rise in resignations at the New York Police Department and also budget cuts that we're told are certain to happen by the mayor have a lot of companies and shop owners worried. Dre Clark is joining us now from New York City. I think a lot of people would be surprised that it's almost every single day.
Well, it's also more than 3,000 grocery stores all across the 5 boroughs. So certainly if you're interested in doing shoplifting, unfortunately, you certainly have a lot of places to choose from. Meanwhile, here in New York City, it's reported that retailers lost more than close to $4.5 billion last year due to shoplifting. That's according to Capital One Shoppers Research. Also, the National Supermarkets Association telling the New York Post recently that in a survey it conducted in September, that 93% of grocery stores surveyed reported they had been hit by shoplifting routinely, in some cases every day of the week. Now, in recent months, we've been telling you how stores all across the country have been keeping items like toothpaste and soaps and detergents behind closed glass doors, because these are among the items that shoplifters seem to steal the most. And it's happening in stores all across the country. Certainly an inconvenience for customers, but a desperate security measure for retailers. Meanwhile, the mayor of New York City recently announcing plans to freeze the hiring of new police officers through 2025. There is now a real concern among business owners that shoplifting will skyrocket and become 10 times worse. The police department is already trying to replace some 3,000 officers who have either retired or resigned in the last 3 years or so. But the really alarming number this year is a departure of close to 2,500 police officers so far this year, leaving the job, and many more are expected to do the same before the year is out. The mass exodus means more officers potentially working longer hours on a regular basis to make up for the gap in manpower. Now, many business owners say the problem here in New York State is that any retail theft under $1,000 is considered a misdemeanor and there is no bail required. So shop owners say in many cases, those individuals who are arrested for shoplifting will be released from jail and then come right back to the same store and steal more items because they know ultimately they will not be held behind bars for more than a few hours or so. They say that's the real problem. And if they want to cut down on the number of shoplifting happening here in New York City, they have to do something about bail reform.
Here's the recipe behind this disaster. Defund the police. Yeah. Put a hiring freeze on the police. Virtue signal that you are a sanctuary city. Bring in as many illegals as you possibly can who don't have work permits. You have no accountability for when people steal from stores. There's virtually no, like the interview said, under $1,000. We're not going to misdemeanor. We're going to basically give you a parking infraction. Go ahead. And you're whacked out and you're living on the streets, you're doing drugs. Why wouldn't you continue this lifestyle where you're just stealing? Maybe you don't work. Maybe, your whole thing is just, I'm just going to go into these stores and steal until they tell me I can't. And you know what? The world's your oyster. World's your oyster. Because especially in New York City, this is going the wrong direction. These numbers are up. And these numbers are up during a time period when so many of the store managers, owners, employees are no longer reporting the crimes that are happening of shoplifting because they know what's the point. They're going to be bogged down filling out reports and just doing ridiculous stuff when they could just get on to the next task, whatever it is, stocking a shelf, whatever, coming up with that great, Memorial Day sale that they're going to have. Because the whole notion of consequences for actions such as shoplifting, there are none. Crime does pay. There are none. So if you're a citizen in one of these cities where this is happening and you're questioning, why are they closing down my CVS and my Walgreens? Well, because y'all let the shoplifters just do whatever the F they want. And what they're doing is they are robbing you of your stores. Because the stores, if they're not making money, guess what? Yeah. Like this. I mean, look at this. Everything's on sale. Everything's 50% off. That's if you can get to it. This stuff isn't isn't locked up, right? New York City is losing drugstores as retail theft continues to surge. Gotham has logged 21,578 shoplifting complaints this year through May. That's up 5%. And this is what I'm talking about. You're up 5% during a time period where people aren't calling in criminal activity anymore. Because what's the point? Why bother? I got other stuff I got to do. Am I going to monkey around with having a cop maybe come out, maybe not come out, wait around for them to show up? They don't show. And even if they do show, all right, they're going to take down a little report and nothing's going to happen. Why bother? Why bother? If I'm working in a store, I'm not going to probably bother either. Well, but Sean, you got to have those numbers because otherwise people aren't going to believe what the reality is. People understand the reality. These stores are getting shoplifted out of existence, right? So it's up 5% from 20,552 thefts from the same period a year ago. Manhattan has seen 8,900 incidents of retail theft alone. And that are known, right? That have been reported. Crime is so rampant, national chains like Target, CVS, and Walgreens are closing locations and tempering expansion plans. Yeah, would you like to expand? Yes, we would. More business is good. How about in New York City? Let me get back to you on that one. Need to do some market research and see how we're doing in New York. No. No. Expansion? No. Why would you expand into a market that is encouraging its citizens to just steal from you willy-nilly? Just shenanigans all day long. Why put yourself into that environment? You're not. You're pulling yourself out of those environments and you're saying, nope, we're out of here. Had, what was it, a Target? Target in Harlem got closed down at the same time as a couple of stores in Seattle. And a lot of it had to do with safety. You had so many people robbing the store and incidents where not only consumer safety, but employee management, everybody in the whole picture is, you're in a situation where you got a bunch of just absolute nut jobs running around stealing for a living. That's what you got. So why would this get any better? It won't until it gets worse. And until there are repercussions for the actions of shoplifting, you got nothing. Well, we just don't want to have all those people in jail. Well, you're going to have to do something different and there's going to have to be repercussions, and whatever that looks like, you're going to have to do it. We cannot continue operating these stores because theft and organized retail crime are threatening the safety of our team and guests and contributing to unsustainable business performance, the company said. While shopping patterns have changed with people making more purchases online, theft is a factor in chains closing up shop, said one Manhattan retail broker. You know what I did the other day that I don't typically do? I ordered shampoo. Yep, for hair from Amazon. That's always a drugstore shopping trip for me, whether it's Walgreens or Bartell's or, CVS, whatever. That's usually always, I'm going to go to the drugstore. Well, I realized I wasn't going to go to the drugstore, and I realized I had some other gardening stuff that I had to get. Must-have items. Must have that discounted 10-pack of 10-gallon bags that I need in my life to plant even more stuff. Well, I ordered shampoo as well. And I'm kind of thinking, what else can I get online that makes me not have to go into the drugstore? Right? It's a slippery slope, isn't it? I don't want to give my money to Amazon. They make it so easy. I won't have to go into the store. I'm there. Boop. Purchase now, buy now, right? So crazy. The old loved drugstores and price-wise were 2,500 square foot stores that seemed to succeed years ago, said Big Apple retail broker Robin Abrams. Then they mostly closed as they could not compete with the 10,000 to 20,000 square foot Duane Reade, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid stores. Now we are over drugstored, and these chains will operate less stores in similar spaces. In smaller spaces. Now, the 9 that we saw of Target go out of business last year, they were all the small scale stores. They're leaving the big stores open. And what I've talked about here on News for Reasonable People is that if if you're going to have a retail store and if you're not making money and you're getting robbed, the same as a big store, but big store has more ability to make money, you're going to shut down those small stores. Just boom, willy-nilly. Even if you opened them just a few years ago, like the Target in Seattle and Ballard, it hasn't been open that long. It hadn't been open that many years, and they're going to close it because you've got lack of profits and you got a bunch of crazy nut job people running around, kind of like this guy, right? You got absolute nut jobs just running around. And then you wonder why, when they steal from shops, that, things get all monkeyed up, right? Look at this guy.
That was just crazy. This naked man just jumping out of the bush from the roof and onto the street.
Cell phone video captures a disturbed and desperate naked man running across Slauson Avenue on Thursday morning near Edgemar Avenue in Los Angeles.
Oh, be careful.
The bloodied, exposed man is struck by a driver who never sees him coming.
Boom.
That poor lady, clearly shaken up.
You got some absolute nutty storylines going on out there, right? You literally cannot make this stuff up. I mean, you've just got whack jobs running around in society, and we just continue to allow them. And we allow shoplifting. It's okay. We're in another story here. And as noted, this year's on pace to beat last year's unacceptably high total. This is New York City shoplifting. The shoplifting epidemic is slamming regular New Yorkers the hardest. The average trying to get by people who work and shop in places like CVS and Duane Reade. Now they face danger every day. Who knows if the guy trying to steal a pallet of Pepsi will pull out a knife or a gun if someone happens to look at him crossways. And forget about self-defense. In Manhattan, District Attorney Alvin Bragg has made it abundantly clear that if you lift a hand against a criminal, that it's you who will face the full might of the law. Yeah, there's no running after these shoplifters, is there? There's no store security. And the insurance companies, they're like, just let them go. So these folks know that they can just run into a store, grab as much as they can physically carry out. And there's very little that's going to stop them from just carrying out their endless lawlessness. That's to say nothing of the massive damage shoplifting does to social fabric. The persistent climate of low-level anxiety and fear, toothpaste behind lock and key, shelves ransacked, destroys the trust needed to hold a city like this one together, not to mention how annoying it makes when it should be a simple purchase. Talking about going to the store, I don't know if you've experienced this. I need like two things at Target, whatever it is, CVS, wherever I'm going. Need two things. And you get to the first one and it's under lock and key. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see. You immediately, you think back, okay, how many store clerks have I seen in the store since I walked in here? Not very many. How long is this going to take? And your blood pressure just, right? You're just like, I don't want to wait. I just want to grab my toothpaste and move on with my day. I'm not asking for much. I'm not trying to get something crazy out of the store. I just want some toothpaste. That's all I'm asking for. Please make this process easy. And don't forget the economic harm. Shoplifting's so bad, it's driving even mega chains like Walgreens to reconsider expansion plans and pushing them to close stores as well. 17 in Manhattan alone. Hey, you going to steal from us? We're going to close it down. Yeah. You got a drugstore desert. You got a food desert. Don't really care. We're not making any money, and we got to stay in business as a business. So that whole concept of you stealing from us staying in business for you to steal from us, we're cutting that down a little bit. Shoplifting's so bad, it's driving even mega chains like Walgreens to reconsider expansion plans, and pushing them to close stores as well. 17 in Manhattan alone. You got a lawlessness issue. Nobody is respecting the laws, and you don't have enough cops to, throw all the people in jail that need to be thrown in jail. You don't have enough district attorneys who are going to prosecute people. You don't even have laws on the books that protect grocery stores. You've made it so easy with the de minimis being so low. All right, if it's anything less than $1,000, misdemeanor. Well, yeah, but you're just basically, green lighting. Come in and steal from us. Come in and steal from us. And nobody along this whole food chain is doing anything. In fact, what corporate is doing is saying, closed. I talked not too long ago about 11% of all storefronts in New York City are now vacant and closed up. You might think, well, that's not that bad. No, it's storefronts kind of on that main level. So 1 out of 10 in New York City is closed. And a lot of that has to do with shoplifting, people not being able to stay in business, not wanting to stay in business. What's your incentive for staying in business when XYZ percentage, which is increasing, is going out the door with these people who take advantage of, hey, we know there's no repercussions for stealing. Why wouldn't we do this? So you've got this situation where New York City is kind of the poster child for shoplifting right now, where you've created situations where people are just, their living is predicated upon stealing from big box stores. Not only Home Depot, but Lowe's, Target. I was at Lowe's and Home Depot this weekend, but Lowe's had the most aggressive one of those pole things that's, got a whole bunch of cameras and it sends off a message. Maybe it was because it was just quieter at Lowe's, not as many people there as Home Depot. Home Depot's got one of those security camera things too, hooks up to the police department. But man, it was giving off the message, don't steal from here, you're under surveillance, and you just felt like you're doing something wrong, right? That's the flip side to walking through my local Lowe's with one of those big tower kind of things with the lights going off and it's talking to you, be careful, and whatever message it was sending. Don't shoplift. You're under surveillance. We're watching you. Put anything in your pockets. Yeah. All that stuff, right? It's out there, and that these stores are just, they're basically bending over and taking it, because the alternative is they close down all their stores. That's not going to work out well for business either. No, they're taking the ones that are getting shoplifted the most and have the most security issues. And those are the stores that they're saying close to. And as this article said, you are not looking at more stores coming into those communities. You're looking at the opposite, which is if they have expansion plans. Hey, we're going to expand the franchise this year. Should we put some in that community? No. Good Lord, no. It's gone the wrong way. We're not doing that. Homie, don't play that game. That's it for me talking about crazy shoplifting that's going on in New York City. It's gotten bad, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. So I'll continue to have updates on this storyline. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.